Hi all, welcome to online lecture series by Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology. I'm Tressa Michael from Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today we can discuss some problems based on the scheduling that we have discussed earlier in the last presentation. And we know scheduling is of two types, preemptive and non-preemptive. And preemptive itself, there are a lot of algorithms, and non-preemptive also a lot of algorithms are there. So we can discuss some problems so that you will be familiar with the algorithm or the method by which all these scheduling schemes works. So first one is we can discuss about a program or process which works under the preemptive scheduling. One example, the question is like this: there are four processes P0, P1, P2 and P3, and the arrival time of each process is also given, and the burst time, that is the time execution time which is for each process in the CPU is also given. So the arrival time for P0 is 3, P1 2, P2 0, P3 1. Then the burst time or execution time for P0 is 2, P1 4, P2 6 and P3 4. So as we know, in the preemptive method itself, there are a lot of other mechanisms, or a lot of mechanisms are there: shortest remaining time, the priority, round robin, etc. So for time being, we can discuss about the preemptive scheduling, which works under shortest remaining time of each process. And in the question, from the question, we have four processes P0, P1, P2 and P3, out of which P2 arrives at time 0. From the table, it is clear that P2 is the first process which arrives at time equal to t equal to 0. So the CPU is allocated to the process P2 as there is no other process in the queue. P2 is allocated to the CPU and the CPU starts the execution of P2. Meanwhile, P2 was executing, P3 arrives at time equal to t equal to 1. Now the remaining time for process P2, which is 5 millisecond, which is larger than the time required by P3, which is only 4 millisecond. So the remaining time of execution for process at t equal to 1 is 5 millisecond, and the time which is required for P3, which arrived at time t equal to 1, is 4 millisecond. So the processor will compare these two times, and we know the SRT for P3 is less. So the remaining time of execution for P3 is less than for P2. So the CPU stops the execution of P2 and it starts the execution of the process P3. Processor starts execution of P3. Meanwhile, P3 was executing, process P1 arrives at time equal to 2 or t equal to 2. Now the remaining time for P3 is 3 millisecond, and the time required by the process P1, which arrived at time equal to 2, is 4 millisecond, and P2 is 5 millisecond. So the processor will compare these three times and it find that P3 SRT for P3 is the lowest. So P3 is allowed to continue. So P3 is continued by the processor. While P3 is continuing, process P0 arrives at time equal to 3. Now the remaining time for P3 is 2 millisecond, and the time required by the execution for P0 is 2 millisecond, which arrived just now, that at time equal to 3. So the processor will compare these two time and it find that both are equal. So now the processor was executing P3, so the processor will allow P3 to continue. After P3 terminates, the CPU is allocated to P0, and it has the less burst time than the other. So other processor remaining as P1 and P2. So compared with the other process, P0 is having the remaining time, shortest remaining time. So after completion of P3, the processor will execute P0. After P0 terminates, the CPU is allocated to P1 and then to P2. Question, sometimes they will ask you to draw the Gantt chart for each algorithm, and this is the chart which shows how the processor allocated to the CPU for execution. And in the algorithm we have seen that at time equal to 0, P2 came, and the P2 was the first process to appear for execution. So the CPU starts execution of P2. The execution continues up to t equal to 1. At time t equal to 1, P3 comes, and the processor will compare the execution time of P3 with the remaining time of P2. So we have P2 is having 5 millisecond, and the execution time for P3 is 4 millisecond. So the processor will stop the execution of P2. It starts execution of P3, and at time is equal to 2 millisecond, another process comes, but again the processor will continue the execution time of that process with the execution time or remaining time of P3, and find that the remaining time of P3 is lower than that of P0. So it continues execution of P3. Only after the completion of P3 it starts execution of P0, and only after completing P0 it starts execution of P1, and then it process P2. So this is how the processor is executing each and every process which is allocated to the CPU according to the shortest remaining time algorithm. We can discuss a non-preemptive scheduling example. So in the question there are 4 processes P0, P1, P2 and P3. The arrival times are 3, 2, 0 and 1 respectively, and the burst time is 2, 4, 6 and 4. Which is used for scheduling is first come first serve. We have 4 processes P0, P1, P2 and P3, out of which P2 arrives at time equal to 0, so the CPU is allocated to the process P2. As we know, in first come first serve, whichever process comes first, that will be executed by the CPU. So P2 is the first one to arrive, so the CPU is allocated to process P2. It takes 6 milliseconds to execute. In between, all other process P0, P1, P3 will arrive into the ready queue. So from the question the arrival time is given. So when the processor was executing P2, all other process will come, and the P2 is executed till 6 millisecond, but all waits will waits till the process P2 completes its execution time. So after completion, then the second process which is coming, it will be executed, then the next process, etc. So the execution is done in such a way that first come first serve. Whichever process comes first, that will be executed. From the question it is clear that during that 6 millisecond, which is the execution time of that P2 which came at time t equal to 0, all other processes arrives. So the processor has to start with the next processor. So after the completion of P2, it starts executing P3, which came second. Then after executing that P3, then P1 will be executed. After that, CPU is given to process P0. So this is the algorithm called first come first serve. So here we can see the chart which shows how the processes are executed by the processor. From the question it is clear that at time t equal to 0, P2 came, so the processor starts execution of P2. It executes till 6 millisecond, that is the completion of P2 is over. During this time all other processes will be arrived. So during 6 millisecond, after 6 millisecond it starts execution of the second process which came second, that is P3. It completes P3, then it goes for the execution of P1. Whenever it finishes the P1, it goes for P0. So the chart this algorithm is very simple when we compare with the other algorithms. So its simple logic is whichever process comes first, that will be executed first. Thank you.